Welcome to part 2 of the CalypsoBetTrader demo video. Hopefully the fact you're listening to this one you've already digested and taken in part 1. Part 1 involved the one-off setting up of our betting assistant parameters, so we don't need to think about that one anymore. So part 2 is all about our daily routine. This is a procedure we need to do, 3 or 4 minutes it should take each day, in setting up the whole day's racing activity. And as I mentioned in the instructions, this can be done 9 o'clock the night before. It can be done in theory 5 minutes before the race. Also in theory it can be done halfway through the day, but obviously you've probably missed the first few races. It can be done at any stage prior to the race, or as I say, halfway through the afternoon, but bearing in mind you've missed some of the activity already. So the spreadsheet that's been sent to you, you open up and you should see a screen exactly like this. The only difference is that everyone's got their unique custom ID, which is at the top here. You should have the current day's racing populated up here, and the only field you're really interested in is the big blue box, which is going to be your stake. And as mentioned in the manual, this is obviously your local currency, so if we're talking about UK, this is obviously signifying £2. I could type in 0.1, which is 10 pence, and dare I say you could type in 0.01, which is 1 penny. But for the purpose of this exercise here, we'll stick to £2. It's probably good practice at this stage to set your stake up before you go into betting assistant, because the last thing you want to do is say type your £100 in. It's 1 minute before the race and you set it all up and you suddenly realise, oh dear, I've put £100 on. So always a good idea to set your stake up at this stage. So as soon as you open up your spreadsheet, the only thing you need to do here, apart from set your stake up, is go up to the top here and click on the options button. You click on the option button and enable this content, and again click on the OK. Now that's now doing all its working outs. So that's all we need to do for that particular spreadsheet. We just need to leave it open all day, computer turned on, and it's fine. But it does need to talk to betting assistant. That's where we call up the betting assistant log on screen, and as always is the case, you type in your Betfair username and your Betfair password, and the key thing of course is every day we need to go onto the right profile, and we need to go on to our Calypso profile, which we set up in the part 1 video. So we log into betting assistant. So we've logged into betting assistant, and as I mentioned in part 1, we just always ought to check that we're focusing on the right profile here. At the top here we can see that our profile is Calypso. Now this is where it would be helpful to know in advance what the race meetings are on for the day, but even having said that, we don't really need to know, because down on the left hand side here we go into horse racing, and this is all in alphabetical order, so it's usually after handball, and we definitely need the horse racing tab, not the horse racing today's card, but the actual horse racing one. So we expand that, and the one we're interested in is the Great Britain races. So again we expand that, and we can see it's very, very straightforward. Tomorrow's the 1st of November, and we've got the 3 meetings on. Sometimes you will Betfair, if it says the Cheltenham Festival on, they will have actually futuristic meetings. So we want to make sure we're on the ball here. We only really want obviously the relevant day's racing, and that will be the 1st of November. So we've got 3 meetings to set up, and we do one at a time. And if you were to read your manual, this is a little tricky bit, because what we're going to do here, I'm left clicking on my left mouse button, holding it down and dragging it across. I'm aiming for this quick pick list. So when I'm inside this little white rectangle, I let go, and hey presto, all the meetings explode into this window. You should find that there's no place markets in there, because we're using the Calypso profile, which means forget about the place markets. So we have all the Kempton meeting races in there. It doesn't matter what order we do these race meetings in, but we just highlight the first one. It's always a good idea to highlight the first one, and all we need to do now is go up to the market button up here, click on that, go down to auto select markets, go across to the right hand side down to the bottom one at specific time before off. We click on that. The default is 1 minute, which is fine for us, and we click the OK button. And then the only other thing to do is click on the Excel button at the top here, click on log current prices, and we should see our spreadsheet come up here. If obviously you have got other spreadsheets open on your PC at the moment, you'll need to drop down the window and focus on our Calypso spreadsheet. Every now and again I find that that can be left blank, which means you just need to refresh this, and that usually displays obviously our spreadsheet. And this being the first meeting we're setting up, we must set it up in sheet 1, and that's fine. And the only other things we need to set up is this very important box here. Tick this box, enable triggered betting. Tick these 4 boxes down here, and the other thing is to make sure that all these boxes on the right hand side in the additional columns panel are all unticked. The good news is that once we've ticked up these 5 boxes and unticked all these boxes, forevermore we should find that when we come in for futuristic meetings and race days, all these boxes will be ticked for you. So as it stands, that is absolutely fine. We want to focus on sheet 1 because it's the race meeting number 1. So we just now need to click OK, and that's set up the first race meeting. So we now do the next race meeting. Keep it, thing to remember is new page. Click on new page. We've got a second page coming up. This time we are going to do the second race meeting, which is Plumpton. A very similar thing here. Left click our mouse button and drag across the whole day's races for Plumpton. Let go of my left mouse button and we'll see all the Plumpton races explode into the quick pick list. Go back up to the market button, auto select markets at specific time before off, 1 minute is fine. Click on that. Excel button, log current prices. You should find that all the boxes are all ticked correctly, so the only thing we need to do is make sure it gets focused on the second sheet, being the second meeting, and click the OK button. One more meeting to do, so must do new page. Go down to the one we haven't done, which is Wolverhampton. Left click my left mouse button, holding it down, dragging it across, holding it down. We get into our white rectangular panel. Let go of my left mouse button, see all the Wolverhampton races in play. Up to the market button, auto select markets, down to at specific time before off, 1 minute, OK. And the very last one is the Excel button, log current prices, and this time of course we want sheet 3. All our boxes are all nicely ticked, and click the OK button. And it's always a good idea to check at this stage that we've got the free meeting set up. We check, got 1st of November, 1st of November, 1st of November. Click on the Kempton one. Good idea to check that we've got the quick pick list is auto 1 minute. Look at the Plumpton one, auto 1 minute. Wolverhampton one, auto 1 minute. So everything is fine. If at any stage you think you may have gone wrong, you can always click one of these red boxes to remove the meeting and start again. Let's just show that. So get rid of Wolverhampton. That now disappears. We'll set it all up again. Must remember to do new page. It's probably the most common mistake. Do new page. Click on Wolverhampton, drag it across whilst my left mouse button is held down, explode it into the window, go into market, auto select markets at specific time before off, 1 minute is fine, Excel, log current prices, third meeting, therefore third sheet, come down to OK. And that's literally it. We're all now in play, and we all go to work now. And as long as you keep your PC switched on for the day and the internet stays stable, then we should be able to come home in the evening and look at our Betfair account and see how we got on. To actually shut the system down, literally we just need to sign out of Betting Assistant. Obviously all the meetings are now finished, so it is now safe to shut it down. So when we shut it down, we can just cross our Betfair window, and then come onto this page here, and again we just shut it down. Normally you get a little message, it says do you want to save the changes. It doesn't really matter how you respond, but let's say yes, and out we come, and we're all ready for the next day.